Ndola, Kitwe, Luanshya, Mufulira, Kalulushi, Chingola, Chililabombwe, Kapiriamposhi, Kabwe, Lusaka, Kapfue, Choma, Mazabuka, Livingston, Chipata, Chinsali, Kasama, Mansa, Solwezi, and Mongu. Feel free to interact with us and let us know where you are watching from. Only on your Top Star Decoders Channel 91, Sun FM TV. Radio Gone Rogue. Radio Gone TV.
Your finest radio station is responsible for the dawn of a new era in Zambian broadcasting. Capturing your favorite sounds on radio into great moments on television and on social media. Welcome to Zambia's first and finest visual radio, Sun FM TV.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
For in-depth news coverage from across Zambia, local and national news, business, politics, and sports, this is the Sun FM News, brought to you by ABSA. Your story matters.
The news.
With the news, my name is Alan Mwale. The headlines. Minister of Mines and Mineral Development, Paul Kabuswe, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to inclusive development, noting that the formalization of mining activities will bring dignity and sustainable prosperity to local residents. Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo has visited Senseli Mine in Chingola and addressed the incidents involving suspected illegal miners, commonly known as Jerabos, who reportedly looted shops and disrupted business activity. Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Collins Nzovu, has revealed that 10 out of the 60 dams currently under construction across Zambia are set to be completed within the next month. The Zambia Tennis Association, ZTA, is gearing up for a vibrant August filled with tournaments and development programs aimed at elevating tennis across the country. We have the news in detail shortly.
The news. 88.5 Sun FM.
Now the news in detail. In a significant move to empower local communities, the Zambian government has launched the Artisanal Miners Formalization Exercise in Mufumbwe district. The event was marked by a courtesy visit to His Royal Highness Chief Mukumbi Kizela of the Kaonde-speaking people. Leading the delegation were Northwestern Province Minister Robert Lihefu, MP and Minister of Mines and Minerals Development Paul Kabuswe, accompanied by UPND party officials and various stakeholders. Mr. Kabuswe said that the initiative aims to transform the economic landscape of the Kikonge area by equipping cooperatives with gold mining licenses. He said that through this process, the New Dawn government, under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, seeks to integrate artisanal and small-scale miners into the formal mining sector, ensuring that communities become genuine stakeholders in Zambia's mineral wealth. Mr. Kabuswe reaffirmed the government's commitment to inclusive development, noting that the formalization of mining activities will bring dignity and sustainable prosperity to local residents. He emphasized that the initiative reflects the administration's vision of economic transformation driven by grassroots participation. Stakeholders have expressed optimism that the program will enhance transparency, improve safety standards, and promote responsible resource management. The visit to Chief Mukumbi Kizela underscored the importance of traditional leadership in fostering community engagement and cooperation. The formalization exercise is expected to usher in a new chapter for artisanal mining in Zambia, turning it into a vehicle for empowerment and national growth. Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo has visited Senseli mine in Chingola and addressed the incidents involving suspected illegal miners, commonly known as Jirabos, who reportedly looted shops and disrupted business activity. Speaking at the Chingola District Commissioner's office, Mr. Matambo said the disorderly activities yesterday by some individuals breaking into people's shops and stealing from them is unacceptable and was an act that symbolizes a brutal personality. The minister confirmed and reaffirmed that the government supports responsible mining, but emphasized that all operations must follow legal procedures. His message resonated with the traders and residents affected by the disturbances. The briefing was attended by key stakeholders, including Zambia National Service Commander, Lieutenant General Maliti Solochi, and Inspector General of Police, Grafel Musamba. Security has since been heightened to restore calm.
So we've had meetings with their leaders, we've had meetings with Senseli, so that it can be a win-win situation. And taking them out of the pit is to try and rearrange a situation where they can be mining safely, normally, and in an organized manner. Tekweba tibalira ndatirabye bafunyemo mpiti bafumemo chapwa nchitwabala bako tefo chaba ba president bali sakamana ba youth base kuchingola kwali ati nga bafumemo bakweba pantu kwali infwa the past 1 month abantu balefwa 2023 to 2024 twali rufya abantu muri almost close to 40 kwale bashukula ngefyu na tulefo kuwelela kulya.
Inspector General of Police Grafel Musamba said anger and frustration must not be directed at innocent citizens or their property, warning members of the community to desist from such acts of violence.
Let me assure these people, wherever they are, that the police are coming after you. Your time and the days are numbered. And once we catch up with you, we'll take you to the House of Justice, which is the courts, and we'll make sure that you pay the price for what you've done.
Lieutenant General Maliti Solochi has issued a stern warning to illegal miners in Chingola, cautioning them against provoking security personnel and engaging in lawless behavior. He stated that the ZNS will not hesitate to act within the confines of the law to restore order and protect public safety. He further condemned the use of children in illegal mining operations, describing it as reckless and inhumane.
Let's refrain. Let them have confidence that the men and women in uniform, when they are there, they are not against them. They are for them, to make sure that law and order is maintained. And this is also to just inform our fellow citizens that let's stop sending those children there. That's against the law. Any child found there related to someone at a time that the provincial administration would have set up matters straight, those will be arrested together with the children that they brought there. We stop provoking the men and women in uniform.
Meanwhile, IECZ coordinator Aston Sakala expressed a deep concern over the attacks, stating that many traders are already struggling to provide for their families and should not be subjected to further hardship through acts of looting. He described the behavior as unjust and damaging to livelihoods, warning that such unrest could have serious repercussions on the local economy.
We want to condemn this barbaric behavior that as we have seen so far. It is not the first time we have seen this. We have seen this twice. It happened last time. But we want to say that the Jaraboda should understand that even the marketeers, even the traders, they are also suffering for them to find food on the table. So we therefore want to urge the government of Republic of Zambia that it's not that they should reach a win-win situation with the Jarabos, and like what we have seen now, innocent traders, innocent marketeer are being affected, their goods are being rooted, which is very difficult at the moment to replace these things.
Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Collins Nzovu, has revealed that 10 out of the 60 dams currently under construction across Zambia are set to be completed within the next month. In a recent interview, Mr. Nzovu reaffirmed the government's commitment to delivering all 60 dams within a 3-year period, emphasizing that the initiative is progressing steadily. He noted that the water infrastructure projects are designed to significantly improve access to clean water, boost food security through expanded irrigation, and uplift communities in water-stressed regions. The minister highlighted that these developments are part of a broader national strategy to strengthen livelihoods and ensure sustainable water management across the country. This announcement marks a key milestone in Zambia's efforts to enhance its water and sanitation infrastructure, with the completed dams expected to bring immediate benefits to the local populations. The Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, has issued concerns following the United States' decision to withdraw development aid from Zambia, cautioning that the move could severely impact women and girls across the country. Speaking at a high-level symposium on global geopolitical shifts, NGOCC Executive Director Annie Mbewe said the reduction in support threatens progress in reproductive health, education, and economic empowerment. Ms. Mbewe emphasized that Zambia's civil society sector is increasingly fragile and vulnerable to instability as international partnerships diminish. She called for a re-evaluation of foreign aid conditions and urged the government to prioritize inclusive decision-making, especially involving women, youth, and persons with disabilities. She warned that failure to manage these geopolitical shifts could have long-lasting consequences for Zambia's social cohesion and economic trajectory.
Secondly, I think it's a time when inclusion is very, very important. If we're talking about facing challenges, then we must ensure that all those that will be affected by those challenges must be at the table. And who are those? It's everybody. It's ensuring the gender inclusion, it's ensuring that persons with disabilities, ensuring their youth, that everybody is involved in determining the solutions, and is involved also in monitoring how we do as a country. We must always remember that there are differentiated impacts of anything that happens in the different groups. If we have a reduction in aid, for example, it will affect women differently, men differently, boys, girls, persons with disabilities. I won't go into detail now, but I will give examples. For example, the withdrawal from health will affect maternal health. Okay. It will affect sexual reproductive health. It will affect even the decision for women to have children when they should, if we do not have contraceptives, for example.
At the same event, Ambassador Lazarus Kapambwe, a seasoned international relations expert, urged Zambia to adopt a more strategic and interest-driven approach to diplomacy. He stressed that outcomes on the global stage are secured through negotiation, not entitlement, and called for the deployment of skilled negotiators over politically appointed envoys. Ambassador Kapambwe also advocated for the professionalization of Zambia's diplomatic corps to ensure the country remains competitive in a rapidly evolving global landscape.
I am seeing concepts such as investment diplomacy economic diplomacy, and I'll tell you that those are just fancy tags. In reality, there is only one diplomacy. And that diplomacy is about who is the best trained diplomat and how they are facilitated and how well their national interest is defined. If you have good, well-trained diplomats, well-defined national interests, your diplomats are going to be adaptive enough.
The symposium themed Zambia in a Shifting World Order, Strategic Responses to Global Geopolitical Reconfiguration, was organized by the Southern African Institute for Policy and Research, SIPA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. It brought together key stakeholders to discuss Zambia's positioning amid changing donor strategies and the rise of emerging global actors. As Zambia navigates this complex international terrain, civil society leaders and diplomatic experts alike are calling for a bold, inclusive, and strategic reforms to safeguard the nation's future. The Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, has confirmed that it is investigating several ministers and top government officials, but will only release their names when it deems it appropriate. ACC Chairperson Evans Hamaundu explained that during a media breakfast that a premature disclosure could lead to misinterpretation by the public, and that the investigations have not yet reached a stage where naming individuals would be responsible or constructive. Hamaundu acknowledged that the stakeholders have requested transparency regarding the number of officials under investigation, but emphasized that the Commission must protect the integrity of its processes. He also highlighted recent reforms, including the launch of a national policy on anti-corruption, which aims to eliminate corruption and improve Zambia's standing on the Transparency International Perception Index.
But we, at the moment, until such a time that we really get to the point where we release now the names of those involved, when we've reached a certain proper stage in the investigations. At the moment, we can't just start releasing numbers that we are investigating so many people. For fear that the number will just be taken out of context. To say you have so many, for what purpose? If we say we have 10 or 15, but the problem is that when it comes out there, it will be taken out of context and you don't know what it is. So all we can say is that yes, we do have these complaints and active files going on. At least the right time will come when we've concluded or reached certain stage in the proceedings when it becomes absolutely necessary now to review.
ACC Director General Daphne Chabo provided further insight into the Commission's workload, revealing that 1,405 cases remain under active investigation as of the end of the second quarter. She noted that the ACC received 375 reports of suspected corruption in the past 6 months, with 264 containing actionable issues. Of these, 219 investigations were authorized, while 41 cases were referred to other institutions. Additionally, 15 arrests were made and 50 residential buildings along with 80 motor vehicles are currently under investigation.
A total of 1,405 cases remain under active investigation by close of the second quarter. From the Financial Intelligence Center, FIC, referrals, the Anti-Corruption Commission received 4 cases this year, which are currently under investigation, in addition to 5 cases that were received in 2024. These 2 continue to be investigated. During the last 6 months, 375 reported cases of suspected corruption were received. 264 of those cases contained actionable corruption issues.
The ACC's cautious approach reflects its commitment to due process and its broader strategy to restore public trust in governance. If you'd like, it can help turn into... Right. Mafinga Member of Parliament Robert Chabinga has described his questioning at a police headquarters as fair, following remarks he allegedly made that were perceived as threatening towards a former ambassador to South Africa, Emmanuel Mwamba, and historian Dr. Sishua. Chilubi MP Fube Mulenga last week reported the lawmaker for threatening violence. Speaking shortly after questioning at police headquarters, Mr. Chabinga said the 1 hour 30-minute interrogation mainly focused on his statements made during a recent media briefing and shared widely on social media platforms. He clarified that he did not issue threats, but merely warned individuals who claimed to have been abusing his name as the Patriotic Front PF legitimate president. The lawmaker further reiterated that his faction of the PF is not in any alliance with Tonse, and insisted that the actions taken against him did not reflect the context of his remarks.
First of all, I want to state that it's unfortunate that people perceive it otherwise. I was not threatening. I was actually warning the people that have been abusing. You all know, you as the media, that I am the legitimate president of the Patriotic Front, and also the Secretary General, Mr. Ngona, is a legitimate one. But we have seen other masqueraders, and we are not members of the Tonse. We are not members of the Tonse, and we are not in alliance with the Tonse. So that's it. And this has to be very clear, and we have stated it very clear. So, if that the complainants perceived it to be threatening when I was warning as a legitimate party president, that is not a warning. It was a threat. I was not threatening at all. It was a warning.
Zambia is celebrating Breastfeeding Week with a renewed focus on strengthening workplace and family inclusion through enhanced maternity protections. The Ministry of Labor is calling on employers nationwide to fully implement key provisions under the Employment Code Act, including 14 weeks of paid maternity leave and daily breastfeeding breaks for lactating mothers. Minister Brenda Tambatamba, whose speech was delivered by Dr. Anthony Domingo, emphasized that these rights are vital symbols of workplace fairness and support for families. She also highlighted the need to provide 5 days of paid paternity leave for fathers, acknowledging its role in fostering shared responsibilities at home. Attention was drawn to the informal sector, where over 78% of Zambian women are employed, yet often excluded for maternity benefits. The minister urged these women to take advantage of the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA facility, which offers access to benefits such as maternity protection, even for those outside formal employment.
Daily breastfeeding breaks, which it should be counted as working time, and that workplaces should have health safeguards for pregnant and nursing women. These provisions are not aspirational, but they are actionable. They align with Zambia's Employment Code Act, Chapter 268 of the Laws of Zambia, which has already enshrined many of these protections. The Employment Code makes a number of progressive maternity and paternity provisions, including an extended paid maternity period of 14 weeks.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Elijah Muchima expressed concern about declining breastfeeding rates, linking the trend to growing urbanization and the rise of synthetic milk products. He advocated for a return to traditional breastfeeding practices and stressed the importance of public health campaigns to reverse the decline.
Breastfeeding is not merely choice. It is fundamental human right for both mother and child, key and foundational to lifelong health development. For infants, breast milk is a miracle food, and for sure, for miracle food, a complete living nutrition that provides all the energy and nutrients they need for the first 6 months of life.
Echoing these concerns, Matthews Muhuru, chairperson of the National Food and Nutrition Commission, revealed that stunting among children under 5 remains a serious issue, with current data showing that 25% are affected. He warned that early interruption of breastfeeding contributes to long-term developmental challenges.
We are calling on all actors, communities, cooperating partners, civil society, and other players that are complementing government efforts to join hands in supporting breastfeeding mothers out there so that we see an increase in children who are exclusively breastfed, but also children who are given the minimum acceptable diets beyond the 6 months after exclusive breastfeeding takes place. We know that with all these efforts, Zambia is on the right path to drop stunting from the current 32% to the envisioned 15% by 2030 if all these actions are put in.
This year's Breastfeeding Week, observed under the theme Prioritize Breastfeeding, Create Sustainable Support Systems, serves as a national call to action to build equitable and enduring support structures for all children. Abraham Simpamba, an independent aspiring member of parliament for Chilelabombwe, has issued a sharp rebuke against the UPND-led government over its handling of the late President Edgar Lungu's burial arrangements. Speaking during an interview with Konkola Radio News, Simpamba expressed a deep concern over the government's request to inspect President Lungu's remains in South Africa. He described the move as both disheartening and unwarranted, questioning the motives behind President Hakainde Hichilema's personal interest in the matter. Simpamba further criticized the apparent failure of the government to reach an agreement with the late president's family, a dispute that has stirred widespread public curiosity and unease. He insisted that the insistence on viewing Lungu's body was insensitive and raised ethical concerns. Moreover, he emphasized that the Zambian constitution does not permit a burial outside the country, arguing that such actions defy national legal provisions and cultural norms. His statement adds a fuel to an already growing wave of skepticism across the country, with citizens now questioning the government's transparency and respect in handling one of the most significant moments in Zambia's political history.
That was a mistake at first. And the family was willing to bring the body to Zambia on a certain conditions. But it is the government that breached those conditions. That ulio ino musebo wa koya kuchifwema okwalingira okuya body ati baratampo kwa myabaradia babe pushako angefitwa umfwa ati mwaratampo kwa myo musebo baswaika no mulete fi body ba family bachita understand. Let alone program over pangile ya isali kinga to say officially more agreement kwa isa, but no, when the body arrives at the airport they are going to have a private church service, and the condition was President Hakainde Hichilema should be the first to see the body.
The Ministry of Transport and Logistics has firmly rejected social media claims suggesting that employees of the Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority, TAZARA, will lose their jobs under the proposed concession agreement. In a statement, the ministry clarified that such assertions are misleading and unfounded, and that no current employee will be retrenched as a part of the revitalization process. Minister Franca Moseva Tayali's remarks at the State House were reportedly misinterpreted by individuals attempting to derail what the government has described as a transformative regional initiative. The ministry emphasized that the Tazara labor movement has been actively consulted throughout the concession process, and that increased operations under the new concessionaire are expected to create more jobs over the next 3 years. The upgrade is also projected to significantly improve trade efficiency, with the transit times between Kapirimposhi and Dar es Salaam expected to drop from 7 to 9 days to just 3 to 5 days. Freight capacity is set to expand from 500,000 metric tons to 2.4 million metric tons within 4 years, a 600% increase. Reaffirming its commitment to workers' rights and regional development, the government urged the public to disregard misinformation and support the Tazara revitalization as a historic opportunity for economic growth and integration. We take a short break and return with sports.
Sometimes life happens, and we all need that extra something to sort things out. Stay ahead, even before payday, with the ABSA Salary Advance. Get a convenient and quick short-term loan payable in 3 months at an affordable rate. Get the support you need when you need it, and keep your story going. Call 5950 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
In sports, the Zambia Tennis Association, ZTA, is gearing up for a vibrant August filled with tournaments and development programs aimed at elevating tennis across the country. The month begins with the Copperbelt Open Senior Championship from August 1st to the 4th at Nkana Tennis Club in Kitwe, where over 100 players are expected to compete. ZTA General Secretary Joe Siame emphasized the importance of these events in providing players with valuable experience and helping the association identify and nurture emerging talent. As part of its regional engagement, ZTA will send a 6-member under-12 national team, 3 boys and 3 girls, to represent Zambia at the ITF Southern Africa Junior Teams competition in Maputo, Mozambique, from August 14th to the 25th. This international exposure is seen as a key step in developing young athletes. Back home, the second edition of the BTNN's Under-10 National Championship will run from August 15th to the 17th, also at Nkana Tennis Club, reinforcing ZTA's commitment to growing the sport among young age groups. To further strengthen grassroots development, the association will host an ITF tennis coaches course from August 18th to the 21st, attracting 24 coaches who will be equipped with modern training techniques and strategies. These initiatives reflect ZTA's strategic focus on building a strong pipeline of talent and enhancing coaching standards to ensure long-term success for Zambian tennis. That sports item brings us to the end of this edition of the News to End. We recap on the headlines. Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to inclusive development, noting that the formalization of mining activities will bring dignity and sustainable prosperity to local residents. Copperbelt Province Minister Elisha Matambo has visited Senseli Mine in Chingola and addressed the incident involving suspected illegal miners, commonly known as Jerabos, who reportedly looted shops and disrupted business activity. Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Collins Nzovu has revealed that 10 out of the 60 dams currently under construction across Zambia are set to be completed within the next month. In sports, the Zambia Tennis Association, ZTA, is gearing up for a vibrant August filled with tournaments and development programs aimed at elevating tennis across the country. And that's where we end. My name is Alan White. Do have a great one and stay tuned to Sun FM TV.
88.5 Sun FM.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in